The Greek theater shows have been an annual summer highlight since 1981. The theater is located on the edge of the University of California campus in Berkeley, California. The intimate, Grecian-styled seating gives everyone an excellent view of the stage, and the sound is traditionally outstanding.
Extreme heat has always been a factor at the Greeks, and this year temperatures soared into the hundreds.
The Greek shows were benefit concerts for the Rex Foundation, a non-profit organization formed by the dead in 1984. The purpose of the Rex Foundation is to make contributions to creative endeavors in art, science, education, social change, and healing. This year, the Rex Foundation gave an award in honor of a man who was instrumental in the formation of the San Francisco rock scene. The first Ralph J. Gleason Memorial Award was given to the Association for Cultural Equity to support the work of Alan Lomax. Several different efforts are underway to clean up garbage at the concert sites and to make people more aware of their impact on an area. A group known as the Cosmic Recyclers have been handing out trash bags at the various concert venues.
Another group, known as the Minglewood Town Council, put out this beautiful flyer urging deadheads to take responsibility for their scene.
We're here with David Gans to talk about the Minglewood Town Council. David, how was the Minglewood Town Council formed?
Well, it actually began when a bunch of us Oakland residents went to a meeting of the Henry Kaiser Convention Center Board because some of the neighbors from that area were complaining about the Grateful Dead and what happens in that area when the dead come to town. And we basically just went to defend our position, and what we found out was that we pretty much agreed with what the neighbors had to say about the problems. You know, they were complaining because deadheads would move in a week before the show, stay throughout an entire run of shows, and take a few days to leave, and they would basically just kind of move in as if downtown Oakland was their campground. Essentially, the Minglewood Town Council grew out of a discussion among some Oakland people and some people, some of the deadheads on the well. What it is just an idea that was strong enough to take hold and was given enough of an opportunity by a handful of people to become concrete, and then a lot of people just sort of took it upon themselves to get together and see what could be done. What it's boiling down to is that I think that people have gotten the idea that a Grateful Dead concert is a place you can just go and do anything you want, you know, because you're kind of escaping from a boring or oppressive society, you know. And, that's an incomplete idea, I think. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned, being a deadhead or being free involves taking responsibility for yourself. And really the only way any kind of free society can work is if nobody has to spend too much time chasing other people around or cleaning up behind them. So in the world that I choose to occupy, being free and taking responsibility for yourself go without saying. But unfortunately for a lot of people, I think some of the newer people to the scene, they're seeing the freedom and they're not taking the responsibilities. So,
how does one become a member of the town council then?
Just by deciding you're a member. So the point is to not leave a mark where you've been. The point is to go, have your fun, and move on and leave things as pleasant as they were when you started.
So how does someone get in touch with the Minglewood Town Council?
Well, that's a real good question because we've deliberately designed it not to have a physical entity, you know. Basically, all it really is a state of mind, and you can join the Minglewood Town Council by choosing not to fuck around or not to cause problems. And I'm not speaking here as a leader of the Minglewood Town Council. I'm speaking here as one visible member of it, who already has his name out there, so I have nothing really to lose by identifying myself here. But really, the point, or the way we being like several hundred people really ultimately, designed this thing was that there was not going to be an address you send money to. There was not going to be a T-shirt or an armband or any sort of badge of authority. It was really just going to be something that everybody should belong to because the ultimate goal of being a deadhead is for everybody to be part of a really cool community. I mean, it's a great collective effort. Somebody painted a nice picture, somebody wrote a nice poem, somebody digested a whole lot of online discourse about what exactly needs to be done and wrote some copy and put that onto a leaflet, and some people paid for the printing of that. And it's a beautiful thing
It is.
that is the result of several hundred people's efforts and good thoughts.
Really.
And we don't want to ruin it by turning it into a charity.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us about it. And we'll hope that everybody here will help out and help out in their communities in the future.
Even though deadheads were doing their part to cooperate, there was a noticeable excess of police on the scene. It seemed like they were everywhere. In general, though, the police kept to themselves and just made their presence known. However, some deadheads encountered police harassment and violence.
We were sitting on the steps over there where a couple of police officers told us it was okay to sit because it was in the shade. And a friend of mine was sitting next to a plastic cup that had some beer in it, which wasn't his, but it wouldn't have mattered if it was his. The policeman asked him to show him some ID. My friend is 26 years old and looks at least 26, so he showed him the ID. And then for no reason, the police officer picked up his pack and started to open it. Well, my friend kind of made a motion to him not to open the pack because he didn't want him to pull his tape deck out. The cop knocked him on his back, jumped on top of him, smashed his face into the concrete, and at that point 6 other police officers came over and jumped on top of him, almost broke his arm, handcuffed him, and as he was just, all he was saying was, please, please, I'm not doing anything, I'm not giving you a hassle. They were hitting him, pushing him into the ground and handcuffing him. They just dragged him away, and this person is probably the mellowest person I know, and he wasn't hassling anybody at all. These Berkeley police are just out of hand.